if you believe the pundits, Justin Trudeau's new look at the cabinet has one goal in mind. That's winning the re-election next year. There are some political fires that need dousing if the Liberals want another majority next fall. The opposition continues to crank up the pressure over irregular border crossings. So former Toronto top cop Bill Blair will take on a new border security file. There are battles brewing with the provinces on a number of fronts. We'll get to the new alliance forming against the federal carbon tax in a few minutes. Veteran MP Dominic LeBlanc is assuming command of intergovernmental affairs, and the future of NAFTA remains in serious doubt. Enter a revamped Ministry of International Trade diversification. Jim Carr leaves natural resources for that new post. So why these moves and why now? Welcome back to the Sunday Scrum. We've got Susan and Tasha ready to dive into all of this. So guys, we are tight on time, but we've got a lot to get through. So let's talk about the big news that came out, which was Bill Blair's new posting. He was the chief of police here in Toronto. Now he's been given this role to manage border security and organized crime. Susan, what do you think?
He's square-jawed. He's an enemy of the Ford family from way back when he was the chief of police in Toronto. And the government's obviously feeling a bit vulnerable about this question of irregular border crossings. Some Canadians are concerned, a lot of Conservatives. And I think by putting a sort of a tough ex-cop in this role, they're hoping to reassure people that nobody nefarious is going to sneak across the border.
What do you think, Tasha?
I think it's more than that, too. I think there's a lot of pressure right now on the shelter system in Toronto. There's also a wave of gun and gang violence in Toronto. And that's an area where the Liberals have to win seats in the next election. They want to conserve the ones they have and get more. So Blair's appointment, I think, directly speaks to both of those, as well as MPs from Hamilton and Markham being elevated to the cabinet, too, is a big Ontario focus in this cabinet.
Okay, let's talk about Conservative Deputy Leader Lisa Raitt for a second, who says the moves run counter to the sunny ways that were professed by the Prime Minister. Let's take a listen to her.
I think what it's saying is that this government is ready to take on the provinces and have a fight, which is another broken promise, because they said that those divisive politics were done with respect to fighting with provinces. And here we are setting up acrimony both with respect to Mr. Blair and the province of Ontario and Mr. LeBlanc and his ability to be tough, and more so than tough, to be extremely partisan.
Tasha, your reaction?
Yeah, it's a case of good cop, bad cop. Justin Trudeau did promise that, and I think now he realizes with a change of leaders in many provinces, he doesn't want to be any part of a situation. So he's getting Dominic LeBlanc in the seat that he previously occupied himself, Intergovernmental Affairs, to be the tough guy on this, because the players have changed. It's as simple as that.
Susan?
Yeah, and on the other hand, Dominic LeBlanc is widely liked across partisan lines, notwithstanding he definitely knows his way around partisan politics. But I think he's seen, in fact, even Lisa Raitt herself has praised him as a team player, you know, a guy who will listen to you. So I'm not sure it's entirely, I don't see it as a declaration of war. I see it as sort of shoring up their defenses, because they've got a very much more provocative group of premiers now.
Okay, I think, friends, We've got time for one more question. Okay, so let's talk about the issue of the gender balance, which was, of course, such a big hallmark of the 2015 cabinet presentation, because it's 2015 now. You've got gender parity. That came up as part of a question with this new cabinet reshuffling. What do you guys respond to that?
Well, I think they pretty much maintained it. It's 17-18, my understanding. So, you know, Justin Trudeau isn't crowing about it this time, but it's kind of just become a de facto thing that he does.
And by the way, the premiers might want to take a lesson from the feds on this part. There was a photo on Twitter this week by Rachel Notley, her and the guys. She is the last woman standing among all the premiers.
She stands out, though.
Yeah, that picture was kind of jarring, her with with the gang. But we jammed it all in, ladies. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Have a good weekend.
Another good Sunday Scrum. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to our guests, of course, Susan Riley in Ottawa and Tasha Carradine joining us here in Toronto. And if you missed any of today's jam-packed Sunday Scrum, just head to our website. We will have you covered. Head to CBCNews.ca, then you click on the video tab. That takes you to the CBC player. Then you search for Scrum. You find all the episodes, then you can tweet us. It's all very good. You're watching CBC News Network. The headlines are next.